take those moments as we launch. Hi, Harriet. Got it. One moment here as it loads. Here we go. And we are live. Yay. All right. So welcome to all of our members. And I've already acknowledged everyone by name, but just for our people that are not here with us, it is September 21st. And it's exciting because, even I was listening to your conversations before, and there were a lot of personal shares. And it was almost like your personal shares, as Patricia was sharing about her experience in the Army and the balance between the feminine and the masculine energies. And all of you were sharing personal shares from your lifetime. It really aligns where we are planetary wise, because tomorrow is the equinox. So if you're on the northern hemisphere, we're on the fall equinox. If you're on the southern hemisphere, then we are in the spring equinox. And I think that it really is important to acknowledge these dates and realize where we are globally. Before we get started with that, I want to acknowledge Patricia, like I mentioned, for what you had shared yesterday on the call, and just your own personal recognition of your personal growth through these talks and through these conversations. You know, it's when we come together and we're able to witness this personal evolution. And this has happened many times on these calls, and I'm not going to name everyone, but you are, and we've shared that. And I think it's exciting. You know, these are the things that make life so exciting to live. And when we're able to witness our own personal evolution, and we have to acknowledge that when one person evolves and grows, it reflects on all of us. It shows that interconnectedness of all things. And that also relates to this equinox point. So right now we're reaching this culmination, this apex point, where, and this often, life presents itself in these ways, in these waves, even, if you will, where you have an apex and then the wave kind of goes back down, and we're in these highs and lows, and we're just kind of trying to skillfully navigate in between these points. But right now, nature is presenting us with this great opportunity to observe an apex of sorts. And that's kind of what I want us to acknowledge. I don't lead the call tomorrow. It is tomorrow. So, I'm excited about these things. I do teach a class on it tomorrow. But let's first talk about what is this equinox. Maybe, go back to basics and just make sure that everyone understands. So we have 4 seasons, and the 4 seasons that we have on Earth are actually because of Earth tilt. So because the Earth is tilted on its axis, we're able to experience the change of seasons. So we have winter, spring, summer, and fall. And this happens because the rays of the sun are either hitting directly or indirectly onto the Earth. So if the Earth is tilted and it's closer to the sun, then we'll hit direct sunlight. That's our summertime. And if it's hitting the southern hemisphere, or wherever, as we go around, then we'll have indirect sunlight, and that gives us that cooler effect. And that's pretty awesome. That's something that I think is important to acknowledge, how amazingly aligned our world is, and our universe, and our solar system even. I always think it's important to stretch our minds. There is this tendency to kind of stay in our own life and see what's going on for us in our little squares, or on our routes, or this kind of space that we're in. But it's important to be able to pull out of that zoom in, zoom out effect, and be able to see things on galactic events, just really push ourselves out there and see what's going on, because that allows us to align with the cycles of nature. And I personally believe that is very important for us. We're here on Earth not to kind of completely ignore what's going on here as we live in this space. So back to this equinox time, this important period. When we look at things in this global scale, this massive scale, And interesting, remember, we're noticing not just the fall that's coming into the northern hemisphere, but also the spring that's on the southern hemisphere. And we have some of you here, and maybe some of you are going to watch the recording after that. We can see that we're not alone in this global scheme. We can recognize how all things are intertwined and connected. And on this specific day, we acknowledge the balance between these feminine and masculine energies, or the light and the dark. Isn't that, exciting? And this relates to many of the talks that we've talked about, where some of you were kind of noticing or even getting frustrated about these darker sides, these shadows that we can call them, that kind of come up. But here, look at this beauty of observing these synergetic energies, or this balance point between the light and the darkness. If we don't know the dark, we won't know the light. If we are not able to experience and look into our shadows, which is what I was acknowledging Patricia for at the beginning of our conversation, how will we know our personal transformation? How will we be able to appreciate that? How will we be able to get this new perspective and appreciate the light? Bring that all back into our equinox. Let's say on the northern hemisphere, when we're preparing for winter, us in our business, we're preparing for the fourth quarter. So it definitely is important to acknowledge these points where we are in preparation. So if we think about the animals, which we talked about on Friday, I love that. They're preparing. Animals that don't prepare for the winter and don't gather food, and they're going to be in trouble. They're going to be in trouble. And that time reflects also on us. We need to get with it, right? We need to start preparing for our fourth quarter, which is literally around the corner, and is able to bring us abundance. Achieve our goals. Where are you headed? What are you making? How much? Do you know it? And then prepare for that. Get ready. And so this time is reflective of this time of maturity, of readiness, ripeness, if you will. And that can deeply reflect back on us, on, what side of us within ourselves are we maturing that? Are we able to grow? Are we able to take a look at ourselves? And even, John's talk, how fabulous was that talk yesterday, where he was talking about looking at what we have done and looking at where we are. And that this time, this specific time globally, galactically, is offering us this point where we can honor all that we've created for ourselves, everything that we've done, everything that we've laid out, and choose how are we going to reset? How are we going to move forward? So if the equinox is traditionally considered a time of transition, of contemplation, gratitude, it's a fresh start. If you're in spring, right, everything is like, wow, blooming and booming, and the energy is high. The direct sunlight that we're given is very, giving us this excitement, this even high vibration kind of feeling. We all remember, we know here on the Northern Hemisphere how it feels. And so there's this powerful energy of change around us. And that change, that energy, it can go in two ways. It can go in two directions. So we can experience it as a crisis mode, something that is that darkness. Remember the balance between the lights, the balance between the shadow and the light. And that can be physical or emotional, right? We can take it both ways, or we can experience it as a breakthrough, as an awakening. And the beautiful thing is that we actually get to choose.
No, I did not.
Yeah, you did.
No, I
I
did
need to
not.
find you. Sarah, can you mute yourself here? Because I can't find you in the list. Sarah, can you mute yourself? Let's see. There you go. Thank you. Here it is. And I found you as you muted it. Well, anyway, so we get to choose, right? We get to choose. Are we going to move towards the light? Are we going to give that higher shine? Even, are we going to try something new? Are we going to do something new? Many of you are just beginning here. Welcome. Welcome to all our new members. Many of you have maybe this is even your first daily success call, and we welcome you. And we do consider ourselves this extended family, this web-like connection. That's why I love the personal shares in the beginning. Oftentimes it's personal assistance, and that's great. And we all need that. But today it was all about personal sharing and just, stories from how you found your loved one and how you got married and how you traveled and how your life is shaping and your houses. And that's exciting. And so I kind of derailed on the topic there, but, we get to celebrate these events and these actions together. That's what this community is doing. And so in line with that, we get to celebrate our own spiritual growth, our even, metamorphosis, like we're becoming these beautiful butterflies. And this specific, for us in the Northern Hemisphere, this autumn equinox, it's a time of also harvesting. So we're harvesting all of the crops, we're preparing for winter, the colder months, we're getting into this place where we're coming inward and we're reflecting. We have this inward, if you think of even like the animals, like a bear in hibernation, this is this kind of coming in. To go back to our Southern Hemisphere listeners, for y'all, it's all about coming out, celebrating, springtime, blooming, planting seeds, growing these new intentions. What are you planting in your garden and how are those going to come into fruition? So, and it's interesting that we are here on this call, or those who are listening to the recording, and those energies are interacting with each other. And they are creating something that is so special. We have the exact same thing inside of each other. So you see, we're able to look at this globally, but then come into ourselves and notice that we have these shadow and light. We have these places within ourselves that we can, once we see it, once we acknowledge it and reflect on it, we can transform and move into this more grateful space, more evolutionary place to be, because that's the path that we're on. We're on this forward and up trajectory. We're not going down. Remember, we're not going down that spiral, we're going up, and we set that intention. So yeah, this is a special opportunity. We get to really appreciate the progress that we've done. We get to shift our focus. We get to make that choice of what we're going to focus on. And we're able to also witness this rare, it is so rare. I don't think I mentioned, but it's when I said light and dark, but it's the time that the daytime and the nighttime are exactly at balance. That's what it is. And we see this balance, and it's rare because right from, Thursday, it's going to shift wherever you are on the hemisphere. Either the days are going to get longer or the days are going to get shorter. And we all know how that affects us. We know it. We lived through many, many seasons, and just kind of harnessing those energies around us. And this has been done from the dawn of time. People have acknowledged these moments. That acknowledgement, it increases our self-awareness. It increases our ability to then meet our shadows with compassion, which is what Patricia had shared yesterday, and what we've been talking about. And not just Patricia, just kind of coming to mind because that was what we had mentioned. And I think it's an exciting moment. If we think about all of throughout humanity, the amount of effort that was put in to recognize these moments in time and celebrate these moments in time was astonishing. We have megalithics all around the world that were put up to celebrate these moments. We have, indigenous tribes all over that have celebrated different things throughout time. And so I really believe that when we're able to look outside of ourselves, to become the observer and not just the participant, and look at what's going on in a global way, that is super beneficial for our own business, for our own personal growth. When we're able to, let's give an example before I kind of give you an opportunity to share as well. if we're only stuck on one niche with our business and we're just kind of going that route and we're leading with that, and we don't kind of think about, okay, what's going on in the world today? How can I see things in a more global way? How can I really connect with what's going on in the world now? Then we're going to stay that path, and we're just going to kind of, upload the same kind of mugs and upload the same kind of designs. But it's when we're able to practice this zoom in, zoom out effect that we can really experience the powerful transformation of our own personal growth and then the business as well, because they correspond with each other. So yeah, let's see who would like to share on this line. Who did I kind of touch here? Let's see. Mark. Yes, Mark, let's hear from you. Always wonderful to hear from you, Mark.
Hi there. Hello, everyone. This is near and dear to my heart because, as many of you know, that I've shared in the past, that I am Métis, First Nation. So I grew up in powwows. I grew up in sweat lodges and so forth. My family and my extended family. So it's near and dear. But what we used to talk about is a transition. You're right. And there's a global rhythm happening that I'm touched on. It's a yin and yang, right?
Yeah.
Of the hemispheres, and when you tap into that rhythm, you can do it personally in your business. So it's it's a new phase. It's preparing for what's coming, and it's a gathering of what you need. So you're taking inventory of where you're at and where I'm at, and know where I'm going for the next, we call it the next quarter, but the next season. So this is perfect for this in relation to our business and our lives, that there's a yin and yang personally within ourselves. And then there's a global yin and yang that we can tap into, a rhythmic type scenario in our lives. So I love this topic. And really, it's a great time to pause, take inventory, and go, what do I need to gather to move forward so I can set myself up for success? And this is a perfect opportunity to, both on a personal level, on a spiritual level, as well as a global level, and tap into that rhythm. So I just wanted to share that.
Yay. Thank you, Mark. I'm so happy that you resonated so strongly and that you're sharing your experience, because it is, when we work with the energies that are around us, there is a more profound effect to it. We can all kind of go through life and just do our little thing, but it's those culminations, those coming together. You mentioned powwows, and the energy there is just so, and I've been to a few, the energy there is so uplifting, and it's supportive for our journey. Just like we create here on our calls, you all know it, that sensation of uplifting one another, of helping one another move along, and then notice those places for personal growth. Judith, that you asked me to elaborate a little bit on zoom in and zoom out effect. Yeah, I just kind of shot that out there randomly, but exactly, even Mark had said it, when you come in internally. So there's that zoom in, I'm looking at myself, I'm looking inward, I'm reflecting and looking inside of myself and understanding what's going on. But then I'm not staying just thinking, okay, Karen is doing this, Karen is thinking that, Karen is going here. I'm also looking at a more global view. Okay, globally, the day and the night are now aligned. Globally, we're approaching the fourth quarter. So I have that zoom out effect. I'm now going outwards. And that zoom in and zoom out is always going to be there. I mean, even if you think at nature and fractals, they're always going to move. They're going to look back, reflect, and then kind of duplicate themselves and go outward into the world. You'll have philosophies on how things happen on an atom. So an atom is like small part. You can go even deeper, protons, electrons, and go really, really deep into the small. But then you can go out and see the exact same relationship. So the same forces that work on the tiniest particle will work on a global effect. And that's amazing. Even Dr. Seuss, I'm trying to remember that book that he wrote. He's a Horton Hears a Who. He goes zooming in. He goes so small into the tiniest things, and then shows you this world of just people living there. Yeah, you remember? I see you're kind of going yes. And then you come out of that, because you have the elephant, right, in his story, that's living in this big world, but everything else, there's a small world, and the universe works in that. And that's that push and pull effect. That's how everything is Oh, the Who, yeah, the Who's, right. I think it's Horton here. Yeah, Horton hears the Who's. Or Horton hears the Who, something like that. All right. I have Deborah's hand up. So I hope I answered your question, Julie. Yeah. Okay. It looks like yes. All right. Deborah.
Well, hello, everyone. I just want to thank Patricia for that disclosure on how to get a husband. I'm going to remember that next time, Patricia. Well, get me a corset, okay? But also, as Karen was talking about the animals and the timing, also the seasons, the indigenous people, and I'm looking at farmers to prepare for their business of harvest, prepare for a new season change, it comes automatically. And so looking at doing business and the type of business this is in creating, we have to, and I have to, I'll say, have to get in the motion of doing things automatically. And I look at the fashion designers, they're already looking at summer. They have their spring collection out, and before we get through with winter, they'll have the summer. It becomes automatic. And that's how I hope to be, you know, in doing this type of business, that I would look at things and not wait and become stagnant, but as I'm complete one season, I'm going almost 2 seasons ahead, and that's how they do. So that's what I gathered from what you were talking about, Karen.
I love that, Deborah. That's so important. And yeah, I was talking way back in August even and July where, you know, we got to prep for this 4th season. It's not, now we're talking about, we're on the cusp of it. I mean, it's here. We can literally say it's here. And you talked about harvest. I mean, let's harvest that money. Let's harvest those sales. So yeah, for the, you know, and some of us have joined right now, and I do believe in divine timing. So it doesn't mean that if you join now, oh my goodness, you didn't prep. No, you joined now, it was the right time for you. And now we're going to get ready. And there's another, the beautiful thing is there's another 4th quarter around the corner. And so you had related it even to the fashion design. How aggravating is it when it's still so hot and then you go into the stores and they're selling those coats, right? You're like, what? Give me a swimsuit, you know, but really they're prepping us. They're like, okay, this is what's coming. Know it. The animals can sense it. They're still connected to that, you know, 6th sense of sensing what's coming. They can sense storms. They can sense the weather, and they're gathering and harvesting. I love your examples, and even relating it to the farmers, how they're harvesting the crops. You know, it is, we just had a harvest moon, the full moon that was just, was on Monday. Oh, today's Tuesday, yesterday. So, you know, which is celebrating the harvest, and they named it that way because the full moon allowed them to be out longer and harvest more, gather more. So energetically and globally, this is happening. This is something that we can really acknowledge and see that happening. And then, wow, exactly like you said. So how are we getting ready? How is Deborah getting ready? You brought it to yourself. And I like that. Like, I need to get with it. I need to make sure that my store is up there and I got all the things, right? We're not going to be selling Valentine stuff right now. Okay. That's also important that we acknowledge what's going on. And so we're in with what's going on and the season that we're coming into, the holidays that were coming up. And we're offering those things to our students. So that was a powerful share. Thank you, Deborah. Let's see, Crystal. Yes. Let's hear from you, Crystal. Yeah.
Hi, guys. Got me there. Yeah, so what I think about right away too is spring cleaning came to mind for me as the seasons go. And I know that I'm a summer person, right? Mm-hmm. So spring cleaning, as soon as spring comes around, you're right. Everybody, you wake up, you're vibrant, everything's great. But I also know that I'm not a winter person. So I'm like the little squirrel, got to get the spring cleaning done, enjoy the summer, you know, winter's coming. And then I know personally that I'm going to slow down. So this year though, my plan, because of all the habits that I've started to make, you know, through the low hanging system, I'm determined to not fall into that idea, because you do your mindset over all the years you've done it. Your mindset's like, okay, well, you know, it's slow down time, because everything does really slow down. Yeah. So I want to make sure though this year that I just keep on that track, and seasons will be seasons. But as far as the business, as far as everything goes, try and keep on the habit. So you don't kind of fall into that. Well, now it's quiet, right? So, but yeah, spring cleaning and all those seasons, yeah, for sure. They work with everything like that. So that's my plan.
And you're having these moments of introspection, you're looking inward, you're also able to name. You say, okay, this is me. Hi, I'm Crystal, and this is what I tend to do. I'm looking at it. We're not going blindfolded into this season or into this moment. You're acknowledging where you are, and you're setting these intentions. You're saying, okay, I've worked hard or worked wise, worked well throughout this time to cultivate new ways of thinking and new ways of being. Right. And now I'm going to put those to use when I need my tools most. And if you had said, I'm not a winter person, right? So that means that this time might be a little bit more challenging on you, maybe just physically, maybe just, maybe mentally, maybe on all the levels where you just kind of, cold is not for you. You don't want it, or the darkness, that has an effect on our psyche as well. When the days get shorter and, we kind of stay more enclosed. Yeah. So you're able to say, okay, I've worked to create these new habits. Now I'm going to implement them. Now I'm going to show, my true colors, my shining lights, and I'm going to present it to the world. And that's exciting. That's exciting. That's something to celebrate and really be excited that it's coming our way. So thank you for sharing that, Crystal. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Anyone else like to share anything that touched you, or that you'd like to share on any traditions that you typically have for this changing of seasons, wherever you are on the globe? We'd love to hear from you. Let's see. No hands are up. All right. That's okay. We're almost at time as well. We have Justin. Yeah, Justin. Okay, here, I'm going to ask to unmute you.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
I just wanted to say I love that book, The Kybalion, that you recommended.
Yeah,
and it talks exactly about that the pendulum swings, and there are these rhythms which are on the physical, on the living mind, and on the spiritual planes, with subdivisions in each. And as the pendulum is swinging where we feel like it's a low point in our life, we can use the correspondences with the higher levels of ourselves to change that vibration. And all that is nice philosophical talk for what we're trying to do is personal transformation, which is changes within us so that when we're experiencing something, we can move toward a higher vibration, and it doesn't have the influence on us that we might have had in the past. And we are changing that, in materially, in our financial, in other areas. But I just love the fact that these are principles and laws that we can work with, changing the dynamics within ourselves and externally, in our material and financial life.
Yeah. And I heard your comment yesterday, so I'm excited that you're taking on these concepts, and it's not an easy read, I know. And it's really exciting when we begin to notice all of these things around us. I think it really gives us, again, back to that kind of zoom in, zoom out effect, where we're not truly alone. There are these forces working with us and around us. And there is that amazing nature, even if we go with a capital N, nature of ourselves and nature around us, that we can relate to and that we can interact with. That's the thing. We can interact with, and we can create, and we can work with. And that's exciting for me. I'm reading this mind-blowing book now, The Quantum Revelation, if you want to, and I'm just at the beginning, but oh my goodness, so much good information that maybe I'll once I process it more, I'll bring it to our talks, because I think it's helpful when we share these ideas. And somebody mentioned yesterday, that's one of my favorite words, bounce. I think it was Kelly and Joe, where you bounce ideas off of each other. Wow, that's true growth, because you need that effect. Just like, the bounce of the trampoline, and the way, even if you imagine how when we grow older and we move, you see that the elderly people kind of their fascia locks in, their bone, it's kind of a stiffer movement. And if we can maintain that bounce, that energy within us that is moving, that is vibrating, that is pulsing, that's health. And it's prime. And so that works as well with the mind and with ideas. So Very, very nice. Thank you for getting me all excited now over again. Thanks, Justin. I appreciate it. Anyone else like to share with us anything that kind of resonated with you? And Judith, yes, I saw your comment there. Definitely, that is a technical question that you want to take to Adam for one of his coaching sessions or Facebook. And just to say to all our new members, welcome. We're excited that you're here. Consistency is key. Coming onto these calls, staying motivated. This is a fantastic platform, and we're all here. This is a really safe space to share all of there's never any wrong or right answers. I like to say that so that you know there's never any wrong or right answers. It's a safe space to share, and we all always grow together by observing each other and learning from each other and just sharing, just like we did at the beginning of the call. We're able to really evolve on a personal level, on a business level, on a global level. And that's truly exciting. So connect with your accountability rep if you're new so that you can kind of move through the process and learn more about how the system works. If you've been here for a while, then definitely stay with it. Get motivated for this fourth quarter. I will be with you here on Thursday. So John will be here tomorrow. Always fabulous and so wonderful to be working with someone so inspiring as John and being able to share the platform together and just try to reach as many students as possible to help you build the best business possible. So I appreciate everyone that was here on the call, and I'll look forward to seeing you all here tomorrow. Thank you all for joining.